February 2nd, 2021. Welcome everybody, and if everybody's had a chance to review the agenda, and if there's no changes there, can I get a motion on that? Moved by Councilor Lowe, seconded by Councilor Tuttle. Be it resolved, the Council of Town Neepawa approve the regular meeting agenda for February 2nd, 2021. All in favor? Carried. And the minutes. Everybody's had a chance to review last meeting's minutes. No errors or omissions. Can we move forward with a motion on that? Moved forward by Deputy Mayor Hinckley, seconded by Councilor Constanchuk. Be it resolved, the Council of Town Neepawa approve the minutes of the regular meeting held January 19, 2021 as circulated. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we're moving on to council reports. Does anybody have a council report tonight? For our first meeting in February? Or
I guess I could
Councilor Parrott?
thank everybody involved with the lottery, the Farm Leisure Lottery that raises money for the renovations at the clinic and expansion there. This year was the best year to date. $160,500 was raised. And a special thank you to Murray Van Buskirk, who sold over $20,000 worth of tickets himself. And I was over there today at the clinic doing some measurements and working on a little project that we will be unveiling in the future.
Yeah, no, was it, that's by far exceeds anything they've ever sold,
Yeah.
right? I think it was just, yeah, 160,000.
Incredible.
Yeah, it was incredible. Way to go, Mary Ellen, and everybody else that was involved. Okay, anybody else? Councilor Jordan?
Yes, Finance has met twice. Currently, between the last council meetings, we are starting our preliminary work on budgets, starting to discuss things ranging from capital projects to grants to recreation. So, and that will be an ongoing process as we progress through February.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, it is February. All right, Denis, Manager Operations, what do you got?
Thank you, Mayor McCutcheon. A little late in the report today, but we'll report on what happened today. So today we had our pre-tender construction meeting at the old fire hall. This is regarding the demolition of the site. So we put this out, posted on Mercs. Today was just a walk around for any potential bidders to have a look at the site. We had 15 in attendance that showed up, 15 separate contractors, sorry, that showed up. So that will be closing February 15th or 16th, I can't remember the date was now, I think the 16th.
Okay.
And appeared to be lots of interest, so hopefully we'll get some decent numbers coming on that one and see removal shortly. Which would be nice because, as Councillor Gerard mentioned, that we're in the budget process, so we'll have a firm number to input into our budget as well. I've already been starting to order some material based on, again, shortages we experienced in 2020 will look like they're coming into 2021 as well. So some pipe material, some construction material, tree replacements for around town have been ordered, and doing any ongoing ordering that looks like we'll encounter some shortfalls or long-term delays. We have one piece of machinery in Winnipeg going through repairs right now. That'll be our sewer jetting and vac truck, so the combo unit for our sewer system. It's requiring some repairs, so it's over there right now. And then we had one sales crew stop by today, demonstrating a new style of trench cage that could be used on boulevards. It's a mountable made product, which is kind of neat, so we'll just have to discuss that with the infrastructure committee and see if that's an item we want to pursue later on, as the price tag is enough, but it ties in with the public or employee safety. And there's a little less invasive on the boulevards, and we're able to dig them up, so we just vacuum a hole down opposed to digging a giant one. And other than that, it hasn't snowed, so we've been fortunate that way. The other news, and I believe this may be mentioned by someone else later on, is that we have had staff going around auditing our recycling system. So residents may notice some of our staff going rummaging through your recycling. We're not looking for treasure, we're just looking for anything that may have contaminated it. So if it is deemed to be contaminated, staff will leave a note indicating what the contaminant is, and they will pull it aside so that it does not contaminate the entire load. We're seeing a declining number in our recycling numbers based from 2020 and the trend, so we're trying to stop that so that we can ensure that we maintain our high grants that we receive from the province and lower our expenses at Evergreen, because then we are charged on the tonnages across the scale for this. Now it's waste. Thank you. Any questions?
Just go back to that tender on the fire hall. Do you have any idea when it might actually move forward, that they would group it down?
We had several that seemed pretty eager to get in there and start right away. Others, like I said, we're giving them a deadline of April to have it completely removed. And no one seemed to be concerned with that. They were quite pleased with how much of a footprint they had to work with, so there's lots of room for trucks, and they're not infringed by other buildings, so it's pretty pleased. So.
Is 15 a lot of people to come?
That's a very respectable number, so I was pleased with that. I was hoping we'd get about 10, so 15 definitely surpassed my expectations.
Maybe we can just go back to recycling for a little bit. Yeah, I think what you said, I think the town has been aware of that, and the council and the administration, that we're going the wrong direction on contamination of our loads. Something that we haven't had occurring as often as we've had in the past year. So you're right, that's why we've asked the town to go out and take a peek at some of our carts. And yeah, so maybe that's something we could just talk about for a minute. So I think it's what we've been finding is a very common theme, right? It's very consistent things in the carts that are disqualifying it. It's bags, whether it be garbage bags or safer bags or cloth bags. It's styrofoam, and it's coffee cups. Those are the three number one things that we're finding, right? So I think we're hoping that if we maybe do this on a more regular basis, and you're right, this is not being punitive. We were just trying to get a handle on this, because if we have too many disqualified loads going out to Evergreen, obviously then the taxpayer is going to have to pay more money. So we're heading in the right direction on this. I don't think we've got a handle completely on why it's occurring yet, why we've had so many disqualified loads, right? I don't think we really know that.
No, I think the biggest problem is that there's a misunderstanding of what is recyclable products, because to be honest, there's a recycling symbol on pretty much every single thing we buy. But we have to check what's recyclable for our region. So our coffee cup here, the lid is recyclable, but the bottom part of your Timmy's or your McDonald's coffee cup is not. So that is considered a waste stream. Your plastic bags, they are a recyclable product under the films category, but we do not collect them here because our processor cannot handle the films category. So it messes up stuff that way. Styrofoam, again, it's marked with the recycling symbol. It's not a recyclable product in Manitoba here. So a lot of it has to come back, and we have to really scour back and look at what's recyclable for our area and the collectors that process our recyclables.
Yeah, and I think we decided from the town point of view that we're going to go back to doing some more education again, right? We're going to have some more stuff go out on Facebook and in the paper, and we're even talking about maybe perhaps putting a sticker back on the carts or something like that with what you can and can't do. I would suggest for the moment we're going to just work with education. We really want people to understand that this is important for us to have this, but I mean at some point, and I have no idea what that is, but at some point if we can't seem to fix this problem, then we might have to look at penalties, right?
It may be a step. So if we see an obvious violation of a black garbage bag in there with garbage, that's not a confusing factor. Like, you put that in there, and some residents may be concerned that it happened after hours, but what's on the bottom and your recycling's on the top, if you're trying to hide it, sorry. We'll be talking the fine.
Okay. I don't know, does anybody else has a comment?
Would it not be fair to just assume that if we're really unsure if an item is recyclable or not, we're better to assume not?
Yes, that is probably the safer measure to go with. So when in doubt,
Chuck it out.
Chuck it out, yeah. And I mean, I know it's well intentioned, but if it's gonna contaminate a load, like, is the pizza box clean or is it dirty? Don't matter, just put it in the garbage.
Yeah.
And any item like that, if we're unsure, it can't be in there. We're better to err on the side of caution and put it in the garbage.
yeah, and we've heard concerns too from residents. Maybe they missed, they can't handle it, it's excessive, they're away, they missed their collection date. If you find that you have too much material, you can simply drive it out to Evergreen. It's a no-charge drop-off. It's a very simple layout. You drive in, your vehicle's scaled when you go in. They have a sorting, it's clearly identified. Drop a bag here, drop recycling over there, weigh yourself on the way out, and everyone's happy. It's pretty darn easy, so.
Or we've got some pretty phenomenal facilities right up by the water tower where
We do, we
you
have-
don't even have to drive out to the Evergreen. I mean, it's
So
great, it's
we-
easy to sort, you don't have to leave town.
Yeah, we've got a sorted facility there, so all you have to do is just come with the material, put it into little mail slots, and it's all
Yeah.
individually sorted there.
Anybody else? Okay, so it's a work in progress, and we'll just see how we do over the next couple of months. Okay, moving forward, we are into accounts, names and bills. So, reading a resolution on the January 2021 accounts. Moved by Councilor Drawer, seconded by Councilor Cost. Be it resolved that we approve the accounts for January 2021 totaling $923,231.47 as reviewed and representing check 2021-00001 to 2021-100172, but excluding 2021-10041 and 2021-10042 and 2021-1001411. All in favor? Carried. Okay, Councilor Burr, Mayor Head excusing themselves for conflict. We are moving into paying some bills for home hardware and co-op. Move forward on the resolution, moved by Councilor Barrett, seconded by Councilor Pedlo. Be it resolved that we approve check number 2021-10041 and 2021-10042 and 2021-10041 for January 2021 to Home Hardware and Neepawa Town Co-op totaling $5,758.91. All in favor? Carried.
Was the Brownwood for a project or? Is the Brownwood for like the bike park or something?
No, I think that's for the Coca Permit.
Oh, okay.
Okay, moving forward on to unfinished business, the CN property residential lots. Colleen.
So I'm just going to quickly try and summarize what this one is about. In June 2019, Council reviewed and offered purchase the 46 lots on the subdivision 4437-16-7679, which is the CN property. They were all residential lots at a particular time, and Council approved a bulk deal. Both parties had things that they needed to do. Clearly, the town needed to complete a subdivision, and we were in anticipation at the time that that subdivision would have been coming through and closed very closely to that date of June 2019. That didn't happen. That dragged out into the end of 2019. Other criteria, it was agreed that the lots that were sold based on a cost recovery basis would include the ability for the town to make sure services were installed, gas and hydro was installed, paving would eventually occur. So we had things we needed to do. We were selling service lots. We, over the period of time, were unable to have all those pieces click together like a nice little puzzle, which complicated things from our side because, of course, COVID hit as well. So a pandemic pushed a lot of things off the plate, made materials very difficult to get on behalf of Mr. Schiller, made mortgaging and financing very difficult to get. CMHC changed the rules, which was part of this whole project and this deal. So as much as it looked good at the onset in June, the pandemic really did a number on us, and I would suggest would be the catalyst to make this whole deal come to the point where we are now, where is it feasible to make this go forward as originally intended. We looked over the course of the last number of months at how we could phase it in. Could it still be affordable? Would the people that wanted the houses still be on board? Could they get their financing? Nothing just seemed to make sense. Would the town force Mr. Schiller into concluding and signing a deal? I think in good faith we just couldn't, because even to date, hydro and gas still is not on site, and that was very significant in having him even start builds there through the winter, so we chose to not. So I think in view of this being 2021, we're working our budget deliberations. We want to make sure housing exists there. Hopefully some to start up very soon or through the summer of 2021. It was agreed mutually that we would just say, we'll close the file on that one. We need to start fresh. We can't use all of those criteria that made this totally go astray and try and format something that would be, we might be happy getting the money, but we may not get the housing. Mr. Schiller probably couldn't hold anybody to speak to the fire either. He's still interested in doing some developing and building in the town. We're excited about that. We want to make sure that we part very happily and amicably so that we can work together on future projects. So, this council just has a comment, we did discuss this at length, and I think we're very confident that absolving him of his commitment and starting fresh and moving forward is the best way to approach this.
Any comments?
Question, do we know anything going on with the hydro? It's been like trying to push a rope to see progress on that front.
The little bit I do know about Hydro, we have had conversations, both email and audio conversations with Hydro about this. We were in the queue, last spring. We paid them last May. We were in the queue again for end of summer. We were in the queue for October. It was November, end of December, end of February, beginning of February. I would suggest now they have been on site in the last few weeks and made some progress. We will have to relocate a couple of curb stops there just because they're in their trench and in the way, which is fine. We can have that done. But I do know they pulled their services and gone over to Brandon to work on a much larger project, which that's not good for us, I guess. But hopefully the timing is such that by spring they will be back on site and have that finished.
Anybody else? Yeah, no, just to go back to what Colleen said, I mean, yeah, you're right. When we made this agreement with Dimitri Schiller back in June of 19, I mean, everything looked pretty positive. It was going to work extremely well, and I mean, no one saw the 100-year pandemic coming. I mean, we went into lockdown in March of 2020. I mean, it became exceptional circumstances that have occurred. And I think the council has agreed that it's nobody's fault. I mean, it was just unfortunate the way these circumstances rolled out. But at the end of the day, it's best for us just to move forward and to conclude this agreement that we're not going to go with Dimitri Schiller and move forward. Okay, if there's nothing else, I guess we'll move forward on the motion. Moved by Councilor Kostachuk, seconded by Councilor Nadeau. Whereas on June 18, 2019, Council approved the sale of all the residential lots within subdivision 4437-16-7679 to Stonecliff Builders, Inc., subject to several criteria being met from both perspective of the town and the purchaser. And whereas various unforeseen circumstances, including the added pressures and challenges of COVID-19, has altered the original intent and timing of the project and imposed significant restraints insofar as being able to confidently proceed with a project of this magnitude within the scope of financial viability. Therefore, be it resolved that due to the inability to successfully conclude a development agreement and sale, the Council for the Town of Neepawa in good faith agree to absolve Stonecliff Building Inc. of their commitment to purchase all lots within the residential zone of subdivision 4437-16-7679 as originally intended. Further, be it resolved that the town continue to pursue with Manitoba Hydro a timely installation of hydro and gas services to the site to align with the sale of lots which will now be open for sale to the public. All in favor? That is carried. Okay, Colleen, we're about the tax sale.
So this is just an annual request that we would normally just designate the tax sale year and let everybody know that we're choosing tax service to manage our sale. Just to avoid some confusion though, we do have a tax sale upcoming in March. It is last year's tax sale that we were unable to hold because the government said we could not proceed with those types of things. So it's been, last year's sale is rescheduled to March, and then we will have the regular one slotted for November. So technically we're having two this year, in case somebody's asking.
Okay, everybody understands that? We'll go forward with the resolution. Move by. Deputy Mayor Head. Second by Councilor Perry. Be it resolved that in accordance with section 3652 of the Municipal Act, the Council of the Town of Neepawa hereby designate the year 2020 for tax sale proceedings, and further be it resolved that the tax service be appointed to manage the tax sale and conduct the proceedings on behalf of the town. All in favor? Carried.
So just know, we will do a follow-up resolution. This just gets them started on a process. We will set a date at a later time.
Okay, our annual Water Service Board project funding, Colleen.
Did you want
Or
to say?
Denise, did you want to talk about it?
Doesn't matter, you can read the order.
Okay, so just very quickly, this is also an annual request that we get from the Manitoba Water Services Board. The only difference I've noted that they're asking for this now in February as opposed to the normal cycle of May. So this is kind of good. If there's projects announced, at least give you the ability to look at some construction season, because getting the requests in May, by the time you deliberate, you probably lost that construction season. So the importance of this might be good for Neepawa or communities that get funding, we'll see. So just very quickly, at the top of our list, we looked at our lagoon phase 2 expansion. So even though we've secured money for a loan from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, we're always looking for avenues of funding anywhere else to drive that cost down. And we also currently have an application into the Investing in Canada program. So we've heard nothing at all on that program, whether being successful or not. And it would be nice to know either way, because that helps with our planning. But we'll put this as number 1 in the Water Services Board to get in the queue. So if there is money available at 50-50, we're going to hopefully take some. They are managing the project for us, even though they are not currently funding it. Next, we have our water tower repair and maintenance, and this has been in our planning for our capital projects for years now, and we put it as number 2. It may not be granted funding we're thinking immediately because, of course, our reservoir expansion, but we did secure half of the money out of the restart funding for that project, $2.25 million of a $4.5 million project. So the reservoir has to be finished first before we can take our tower offline to actually do repairs. So I'm thinking it probably will get bumped down the road a little bit, but that's okay. We put it as number 2, understanding that that's important, and that's the factor of importance we're lodging it as. Number 3, we've got a third raw water well site location in the queue as well. So, and maybe Denise can speak a little bit better to this one, but we looked at the ability to supply water. We looked at some of the repairs and maintenance issues we've had over the last year with perhaps not being able to get as much water into our system as possible. Even though the well systems are designed for a certain capacity of water to come in, we were not able to meet that capacity, and we're not certain why. So we're thinking if we can get a third raw water well site, that would give us the ability to always maintain our capacity and bring our draw in for the raw water, but also give us the ability to maybe just shut down a certain well site location for repairs and maintenance, or if it does go down, we still have 2 sites. So we don't want another well at Oberon or Hummerston. We want a separate, distinct well location off on its own. So when they look at this, we're hoping even they start doing engineering work and preparation for studies to determine what it would be a decent location. Is really what this one's
Yeah,
about.
we're after, like I said, the redundancy of a third site to just ensure some security to our system. Right now, we've found entire sites going down, or different divisions of a well zone going down. So it's pretty scary that way, or if we find that there's a low draw somewhere, it's just due to maintenance, we have to scour and clean all the well sites. So this would definitely alleviate some concerns. Again, for more planning for the future, if there's any more growth that comes in place, we're already starting the process of looking at adding additional water flow into Neepawa. So.
Any idea on a timeline or something like that?
No, the first one is to start the conversation that we think we need one, which we started a couple of years ago now already, and that now we're seeking more investigative work. So it could be pulling some studies from the Water Services Board, or it could be them already knowing where they were thinking. But again, we also need to see an allocation increase on our well permit. So
if we had our new reservoir completed and we didn't have this as yet, that wouldn't be a problem?
no, we'd be okay that way. They said with the reservoir, that gives us the storage cup to extend for maintenance. And then once we have the new reservoir, there's a whole bunch of steps in place here, but it's another key component to aiding in our growth.
So again, we know we have rural neighbors who are very concerned when we talk about our draw of water within this region. The primary reason for this third well is not to increase our water draw. It is solely redundancy and to meet what our allocations are, because we currently aren't able to meet that with the 2 wells.
Redundancy, exactly.
Okay, just to make sure, because.
To increase our well license numbers will take years
Yeah,
if the province even allocates that, but we
Yeah.
need to be able to adequately remove the water we want. And again, that also is security for our rural. We want to be able to make sure that we can supply water to everyone we promised water to. So if that's Rosedale, North Cypress, Langford, High Life, Neepawa residents,
Yeah.
if we really have to make sure that we can come true to that promise.
no, just in speaking with people out in that region, there is obviously concern when they talk about more wells setting up, because we do know it was a contentious issue when those wells were established out in that region. And again, just so that they're aware, it's not about us increasing allocation at this point, it's about us just being able to physically meet what we're drawing, or we're allowed today.
Yes.
So we can meet our existing allocation.
That's absolutely correct. And
Okay.
number 2 is that we think this will be a component to creating healthier well sites, because then we won't be drawing so hard from one site, we can rotate between 3.
I just, as I hear it out in the countryside, I don't want
So,
our
yes.
rural partners to think Neepawa is taking away water
No.
from there. It's about us being able to meet our allocation, what we're allowed.
So I guess you could probably give an example at one of the typical wells, whether they draw 45 liters per second or whatever. We were down to the point one was only drawing 10.
Yeah.
So as much as we can take so much licensing out of the aquifer, we're not taking that water anywhere near our limit.
That's, just,
Yeah.
I hear it routinely.
So-
So I just
so
thought we would
was an
address that to our rural
last
neighbors
year.
in fairness to them.
Yeah, our worry was last year when that one well was starting to falter, then if we were down to just the one well site, then eventually your reservoir, everything depletes. So it's just a fail-safe really we're looking for.
And one's gotta be due to hit by lightning again, right?
Oh,
Oh.
I'm sorry, I mean, because it's happened multiple times with lost wells. So, yeah, I mean, we're due, we've missed a year, so.
Then we go to number 4, we've lifted the High Life Foods meter pit, and you've heard us talk about having this on our budget, and we did have it last year. With our flood and everything that went on last year, we did not get it done. So we're thinking as much as, the funding, we could probably scare it up at some point in the budget. We're gonna flog it on here, and, 50 dollars, there's nothing wrong with that. Mill Street lift station relocation. This is obviously one of the lift stations that was partially underwater during our flood. And the age, I don't even know the age of the particular lift station, but it is starting to deteriorate. We do have issues in the area, whether, the direction we're pumping water to get to the lift station, and understanding that there is a better way of doing things, a better way to send the sewage to, gravity, that kind of thing. So this has always been in discussion. It'll be the first time it's ever hit our capital list for Water Services Board, but at least we need to start planning and preparing, even just to the point of having an engineering project ready for shovel ready. Number 6, David Street water and sewer main renewals, and you'll wonder why this is number 6. As you know, we've already been talking about achieving these ourselves internally, but depending on the funding that ends up being available in Water Services Board, if they look at some of our higher requests and the dollar value tapped onto that, if they figure this is more squeezable into their budget as a smaller project, then we'd be game to having those dollars as well. And of course, the last one, we always have this one on the list because PT 16 water and sewer infrastructure upgrade to support functional design that was worked on since 2004. It is not in the capital planning of Manitoba infrastructure right now, but we do know a big component of getting that on the plate sometime in the future, whether it's 5, 10, 20 years apart, is making sure we are ready for it. So Denise already made progress in the last number of years of actually upgrading water and sewer in the area, but we want to make sure it's clear that we are working on it, and of course, like I say, we welcome anybody who wants to throw some money in.
No, it's never a bad thing. Any questions, any comments? Okay, we'll move forward with the resolution. Moved by Councilor Putnam. Seconded by Councilor Parrott. Whereas the Manitoba Water Services Board is requesting the identification of water and sewer projects slated for the next 5 years in rural Manitoba in order to prepare for a capital plan for the prioritization and allocation of funding. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of Town Neepawa hereby identify the following water and sewer projects to be considered for technical and financial assistance to the Manitoba Water Services Board capital plan. 1, lagoon expansion and upgrade phase 2. 2, water tower repair and maintenance. 3, addition of a third raw water well site location. 4, meter pit at High Life Foods. 5, Mill Street lift station relocation. 6, Davidson Street water and sewer renewal, and 7, PDH 16, water and sewer infrastructure upgrade to support the functional design. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we are into the sale of our residential lots.
I'm going to remove myself from this item.
Okay.
Just in case.
Okay. Councilor George, willing himself a possible conflict?
You know what, I better, I don't know.
Okay, George, willing himself a possible conflict? Okay, so, Polly, what do we do here? We just talk.
So just very quickly, this will kind of follow up to the unfinished business where we absolved Dimitri of moving forward and me mentioning these lots would go for sale. So administration has been working on a document that would be a general information package to put forward and market the sale of all of the lots. There's 38 residential single unit lots over there, and there are 8 2-unit in the RT zone, which would be to the likening of a duplex situation. So we took a good hard look, and our economic development officers put together some maps showing the area, what the civic addresses are on there, general information package, what it would look like to make an application to make a purchase. So we're basically suggesting that with council support, there is no resolution to this, as long as you're in approval once we're all done talking here, to proceed with selling those lots at $45,000 each, first come, kind of first serve somewhat basis, and likening it to what we valued the lots on Eastview Lodge to be at $45,000. That $45,000, of course, is a cost recovery basis to make sure all our inputs into the CN property development are recovered so that there is no cost eventually to taxpayers' base. And we're looking for basically the applications completed, a deposit of 5% of that, which would be $2,250. And then we are actually going to take those in administration and bring forward recommendations to council on what we deemed reasonable. So whether we get a flock of people in the next few days to want them, we don't know. Whether nobody comes in, we don't know that either. But if council is agreeable, you have the general information package in front of you this evening. We did not share it with you up to this point in time, but we're asking you to quickly review it, and if you're in agreement to proceed and allow administration to market and sell those lots and bring forward our recommendations, we will do that.
Okay, just quickly, my comment would be, I mean, this has just been a long time coming, right? I mean, if I understand this correctly, it goes back to 09 or 10, right? That the CN property was originally...
The first breed of wanting to buy the rail land, probably.
Yeah, okay. So anyhow, I mean, that's just pretty exciting to think here we get to be part of it. We get to be the council that all the previous councils and some of the previous administrations have worked on this for a long time, and we get to be the ones now to go, we got it done. So it's exciting to have this, and I think it's, yeah, I mean, it's just great that we got these 46 lots. I mean, the town has been just needing this so badly for so long to get some affordable housing going, or just any type of housing. So this is just great. So I'm assuming everybody's just all in favor of us moving forward on this with the sale of the 45,000 a lot and the deposit down, and I think it's going to roll out right away, right?
Well, that's the anticipation. We want to make sure that everybody gets the information at the same time, and so hopefully we're going to post social media as quick as we can, and we're going to put it on our webpage, and then everybody can say they heard at the same time, and of course the camera is right here, so those in the room heard it first pretty much, especially the information package. We were, you know, as much as we worked together as council administration, we were very protective of how we dealt with this as we went forward with them.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, I guess we should bring our councilors back into the room and...
So I'm...
Hey, we're all in favor, right?
So,
Yeah.
no vote. I just want to make sure
Yeah,
there's
no.
nothing you would like us to talk about.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we are down to other business. Does anybody have anything else they would like to talk about tonight, or?
I thought I did have
curl go?
That's the topic of the street.
I don't know, I don't have the answer to that.
The painting looks
It
fantastic.
looks awesome.
How did they paint it?
We had the folks from the Neepawa Curling Club come and do it for us.
It's amazing.
Oh.
And donated some paint to do it as well.
Remember that.
So we've got everything ready to go. I dropped off the official sign to be posted at Public Works this afternoon. Obviously, I think we got one flood in today. We want to try to get a few more in there to thicken it up on the top. And they have to put the posts inserts all the way in yet. So we just still have the metal cap sticking out and the posts going in there. Rocks are created, they're made, they're done. So yeah, we're just kind of waiting on, again, weather to freeze a few more times and then should be open.
Well, I'm talking rain tomorrow, maybe it'll be pebbles.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, if there's nothing else, we'll move forward to adjourn the meeting. Moved by Councilor Pueblo, seconded by Councilor Constantine. Be it resolved, the Council of Town Neepawa do now adjourn this regular meeting of council at 7:40 PM. All in favor? Carried.